Welcome to Begin, Build, Blossom, your business journey with Clarita, the podcast where we will discuss valuable insights, resources, and motivation to fuel your entrepreneurial spirit. Let's build a supportive community together. Subscribe now to Begin, Build, Blossom, and let's embark on your business journey. Hello, welcome to another episode of our podcast, Begin, Build, Blossom. And today we are here with Jesse Ramos Jr. And we're going to go ahead and introduce him. And we will give him a big welcome because he has a huge personality that deserves that. He went from finance to fitness. He is an aspiring fitness guru, chasing his dreams of helping millions of people live healthier lives. Jesse moved across the country and even resigned from his assistant vice president role at a high-profile bank. Let us have his clients describe him a little better for us. So I will go ahead and read some reviews, get it directly from the clients. We have Maria. She said, Jesse is an amazing trainer. With his enthusiastic energy, you will not even notice you are exercising. He will help you to achieve the goals you need. Do not hesitate to call him. And I have two more. We have Bianca. She said, Jesse helped me start my fitness journey. I went from no activity due to some previous health issues to being able to do squats, lunges, planks, and all of those. She was able to do them correctly. He was able to help me remotely and made sure my form was correct. He was always available when I had any questions. Jesse is very flexible and will be your biggest cheerleader. His positive attitude and his expertise in health and fitness are unmatched. There we go.
Wow.
Based on your clients, you are amazing. And I'm hoping to be one of the other clients that will be adding some reviews.
Oh, you will.
Yes. Well, thanks again for joining us. We are going to move on to a section we call Rapid Fire. And we are going to be asking you some questions. And we'll see if we can get some quick responses. But if you think you need to elaborate on anything, go right ahead. No worries. Okay. So I want two words from you. The first one will be one word to describe you as a child. And the other one would be one word that describes you now.
As a child, adorable.
Okay. And as an adult?
Motivational.
Okay. Adorable, motivational. I love it. What is the name of your business?
It's BBT Fitness, which stands for the Butterfly Body Transformation by Jesse Ramos.
Ah, nice. Butterfly body. Love it. How long have you been in business?
Since October of 2022, actually.
Is it full time?
It's 3/4 time right now. Maybe, yeah, coming up to 3/4. I'm growing, which is good. But I also do a couple of other things to obviously keep my income streams alive because it's New York and you have to hustle here.
That is true. Yes. I am in New York too, so I totally understand.
He lived in my sister's trailer in her backyard before I moved to New York
Oh, wow.
because I was trying to save money.
Wow.
So when I first moved here in 2021, I was looking at, shoebox apartments and I was like, geez, my big personality cannot fit in something like
Right.
this. Something kept bringing me west and I ended up here in this beautiful building. And I'm just as shocked as you. I was like, whoa.
All right. So can you tell us a little bit about what you were doing before you started your business?
So prior to me pursuing my dreams of becoming the next Richard Simmons of fitness, I was actually in retail banking for about 15 years. I started as a bank teller when I was 21 years old, and I made it all the way to an assistant vice president for a major bank. I worked at a few different major banks, so Wells Fargo, Citibank, US Bank, and then I ended my career at Bank of America, which is where I spent the majority. I spent 7 years there, and I made it to the top, almost to the top. It was fun. It was a lot of fun. When I started banking, it was I didn't know what I was doing. I always had a lot of odd jobs. I was going to community college, and I wanted to be a teacher originally when I was growing up, and I wanted to teach English. So I had like I was working at a lot of coffee shops and just odd jobs, and I would, I was just a young kid, so I would quit. And my mom would always tell me, they call me Gordo. That's my nickname. She'd be like, Gordo, you need to go work at the bank. And I was so stubborn. I was like, I'm not going to work at the bank. But I would go every Friday to cash my checks at this Wells Fargo. And there was this, they spoiled me because there was always long lines when we didn't have all the digital stuff, 2008. And, so these tellers, Mirla and all these ladies back home, they would always cut me, like see me, go get my check and not have me wait. And so they were just really nice when I said, hey, every time behind my mom's back, I would ask them, are you guys hiring? And they would say, no, no, no. But one day she said, hey, do you still want to work here? And I said, yeah. And, she like, hold on. And she came and she brought this big muscle man out and he scared the living daylights out of me. And he was, you think I'm high energy. He was 10 times. His name was Mario Banks, Mario Polito. And he, hey, I heard you want to work here. And I was like, I looked at him and I was like, yeah. He's like, why do you want to work here? And I said, because my mom told me to. I got stuff. And he told me to call a recruiter, gave me like a number or something. I love, helping people, to be honest with you. I loved helping people. I still do love helping people, but then I realized I was competitive because it was the sales position. I mean, I was a teller, but there's a lot of sales behind the position. You think it's just like I'm going to cash your check, but if you're really good at it, you can really grow and change people's lives and help
Right.
people. So I was drawn to that. So I progressed. I learned a lot. I worked with a lot of mentors in the career and I made it all the way into a leadership position. And I'm so proud of my career in retail banking because it taught me so much about finance and the world, to be honest with you.
You should be. Congratulations. So what made you
Thank you.
leave that sector?
I left because, I grew up, I'm from California and, I was born in lower part of the Central Coast, Bakersfield, California. And my mom and my dad divorced when I was about 8 years old. So she moved us to this small town called Santa Paula. And it's in a beautiful, it's a nice small town. It's very beautiful. Look, there's one high school, 30,000 people. It's right between LA and Santa Barbara. So it's in Ventura County. And in a small town, you have small minds and you think small. And so that's what I always thought. I thought, oh, this is what I'm doing. I have to work at the bank and this is going to be the rest of my life. But when I moved to New York City, in 2021, I moved with the intentions of progressing with the bank and growing to various roles. But I was always scared to leave the bank. I knew it didn't resonate with me for a few years, especially after the pandemic. The pandemic really changed a lot of our culture in the financial centers, in retail banking. Little by little, they started pulling staff out, but the responsibilities and the goals were still there. So after the pandemic, well, during the pandemic, the bank gave I guess the opportunity for our associates to leave the financial centers and work from home if they were at high risk or someone in their house was high risk of being ill from COVID or essentially passing away. So I stayed. I've always mostly lived by myself. So I didn't really have anybody to infect. Thank God. And so I stayed, but it was taxing. And there were times when it was just me and maybe two other associates running the entire financial center with lines around the building. So it just got extremely exhausting and the fun was taken out of it. And so when I moved to New York, the goal was still to promote with the bank. But let's say after moving here, my eyes opened because I have never, where I'm from compared to New York, it was it's night and day. And and so when I look out of my window, I look here, I'm like, how did I end up here in this city? And my eyes opened and my soul opened and my mind opened. And I said, and I just, all the different people I would meet, I would think to myself, you know what? I'm not limited. I need to stop being afraid because I didn't enjoy the bank for a lot of the last maybe 5 years, but it was all I knew. And that's what I thought that, I didn't finish college and I made it in this corporation. And I thought, wow, you know what? I've made it with no college degree. And I always thought I needed one. And I'm here helping people improve their financial lives. But when I moved here, I realized, you know what? This is no longer me. And I need to do something that is, is near and dear to my heart. And fitness was the only other thing that I knew was appropriate for me and what was my calling because fitness has done a lot for me. And I used to weigh 255 pounds. And that's why they called me Gordo because I was always a bigger kid. And I've lost 90 pounds and I've kept it off for well over 10 years. And fitness has just done so much for me, personally and professionally as well. So I credit it for helping me to promote several times within my career. And I credit it for helping me both, personally with being able to have that discipline and, and be able to, have barriers with people. And so a lot of people ask because they know me and like, Jesse, how did you lose all this weight? What did you do? And I just would light up when I would talk to them about it. Because again, it's me wanting to help. And so this is what you got to do. You got to do this. You can't eat that. You can't eat this. You want to do this. You want to do that. You want to do that. Hey, you know what I mean? So I loved it. And I remember in 2017, I had a friend of mine come into the bank and he was a personal trainer in California and he was opening his business account and I was so proud of him. And I was just like, man, his name is Bobby. I was like, I really wish I could become a personal trainer. He's like, well, what's holding you back? And I just, honestly, it was just me. So when I moved here and then I married those two ideas together of me, living in a city where their dreams are made here with me fulfilling my purpose, I said, you know what? That's it. So started researching personal training certifications and I found the National Academy of Sports Medicine and there was several out there, but this one was, it meant more to me because it just was more reputable and, everything's science based, so scientific evidence. And so it took me about a year to get certified because I was doing it on my off time, on top of working 50 hours a week at the bank, sometimes 6 days a week. I would go to Starbucks before work, maybe 5:36 in the morning and study for those 2 hours,
That's some
uh, maybe one
dedication.
day a weekend. Yeah, it was, but I enjoyed it because to be honest with you, Clarita, I didn't really know when I was a part of my fitness journey what was going on inside of me. I just knew I was losing weight. So when I started learning the mechanics behind it, I was like, holy moly, this is happening? Like what? That is cool. And I got fascinated with it. Like there's three energy systems that, work. There's your muscle contract, it's called the all or nothing principle. It's so fascinating what your body
It
can
is.
do.
It is.
Your body. Yeah. And so I got even more geeked out with it because I'm so curious and I always wanted to know the why behind things. Why? Now I know. And that's why I left because I knew I was no longer happy there. So I got certified and I quit my job a week later.
Wow. So that takes us nicely into the begin section of the episode. Basically, it sounds like you started thinking about the business while you were working, or did you start thinking about owning a business even before that?
I've always wanted to have, I've always seen myself as independent. So I've always wanted to be a boss. Like I've always wanted to be like someone that's in
Right.
charge and that's leading people in the right direction. I still have bigger dreams. One of my big dreams is to own a coffee company. 'Cause I love coffee. And so, yeah, so I always wanted to do that with my family because me and my sisters, Jessica and Vanessa, Celeste and my mom, Roxanne, we all share a love of coffee. And so one of my goals is to have us all having a coffee company
That sounds
together. So
lovely.
I'm always seeing my, yeah, but the personal training was the first idea in
I
2017. It was just a thought that stayed there, and to see it come to life is just it's exciting for me, to
That's
be honest.
great. And you talked to you touched a little bit on your family and growing up in a small town. So what more would you say about your upbringing has led you to where you are today?
Well, where I'm from, like I said, it's a small town. It was one high school, as I mentioned, and I was always a loud personality, but I was extremely shy inside. And I knew that I had a creative side when I was growing up. But like I said, I just thought that the small town was where I belonged just because I had lived there my whole life. Now that I'm 37 years old and here, I inspire a lot of people from back home because a lot of people are still in the small town, which is fine. But it pushes me even more to want to do more so I could show them, you can do this too. You don't have to necessarily be in New York. You can be from a small town, and whatever your dreams are, whether they be in Santa Paula, whether they be anywhere you're at, they can be as big as you want them to be. It just starts with you bringing it out of yourself. So that's what pushes me and motivates me.
That's great. And I'm just wondering, how did you get your very first client?
My first client was on Instagram, actually, Alex.
Really?
Yeah, he was my very first client
How did that happen?
because I started just promoting myself on Instagram and I started just posting, hey, I'm a trainer if you want to work with me. Like I was so new back then, and I still post, but I had Alejandro, he reached out to me and he was my first client ever. And I was just like, this is so cool. I was so excited.
And was that before or after you had left your job by the time you
That
got
was
that client?
after I had
Oh,
zero clients when I left my job.
you quit before you actually started the business, but you knew what you wanted to do.
I had been working on the website and
Mm-hmm.
working on the rebrand of my Instagram
Right.
for a couple months as I was studying, but I launched it officially after.
I
So
okay.
so yeah, yeah, yeah. But then I got Alejandro, and he was amazing. But it was
Mhm.
nice to have somebody
Okay.
trust me.
And since it was Instagram, was that a virtual client or an in-person client?
He was in person. He was in New York, which was
All
kind of
right.
cool because it was cool because we met virtually, but he came to the gym here where I live to train. I pushed him.
Nice. Well, that's great. So that's amazing. That brings us to the build section. We talked about Alex being your first client. How did you go about getting even more clients?
I just started promoting myself on Instagram. I hired a social media manager. His name is Ray True. He's in Northern California, but he found me. And so he reached out to me and he was just persistent, persistent. And I was thinking, you know what? I should use him to help me because I want to make those cool reels and I want to make those cool Instagram, but I'm already going to be 40 in 2, 3 years. And, he's a young guy. He's viral and he has a lot of followers. So I figured, well, he obviously knows. So he really helped me rebrand my Instagram and I believe that with both of our forces together, he helped me show a different side of myself, my real self, to be honest with you. In the bank, I was in a suit and tie. I was not myself. Who you're talking to right now is the real me, Jenny from the block.
I absolutely love those videos where there's this one where you like flipped your head back and you like from finance to fitness. That one
Yeah,
video that I just really love.
yeah, yeah. And
You have very cool videos.
thank you, thank you. I'm hoping to grow. My dream is to be big, and so he helped me. So I hired him, and I still work with him actually. So if you need someone, call him.
What is it like working with him though? Because from looking at your Instagram, it looks like you do a lot of stuff. Like it looks very authentic and natural. And so
Yeah.
just tell me a little bit more about how that works.
So he sends out a newsletter to me. He go into different I guess my niche and he will go into whatever my niche is, which is fitness and motivation, obviously comedy, and he'll send me ideas of what he wants me to film or just give me like a small synopsis, like a plot. And then I'll run with it. And then I'll send him my footage. He'll put it all together for me and he'll send it back and I'll approve it or I'll tell him like, hey, I don't really like this. I don't like the ways it's coming across. And we'll talk. Like he's like, what are you trying to promote? Like, what are you trying to tell the world? And so he'll send it back to me, which is really cool. And so yeah, that was a big part of how I got clients. But also where I live, we have a really nice gym facility downstairs, and there's group classes, fitness classes, and we have a building link, which is like for all residents in both properties because there's silver towers there and also River Place here, and they're married together because they're the same owners. And so I would just post and they're like, hey, my name is Jesse. I'm your neighbor. Let's get sexy. Like, let's get sweaty. You know what I mean? And you know, I'm a personal trainer and I would just promote and I would be visible. I was always down there. I love working out. I'm always in the gym. So if people would start reaching out to me and then I started emailing the property manager and I said, hey, can you get me in touch with whoever is in charge of these group fitness classes? Because I thought that was a perfect way for me to get more experience and just more exposure to
That's good.
introduce myself to the residents. So I was able to start. They interviewed me and they gave me a group fitness class. I taught a boot camp and it was
I
fun.
like how you go for it, you know? You see the opportunities and you go for it.
I had never taught a fitness class, but I just knew I knew how to do it. But it was so, I remember the first class, I was like, oh my God, what am I going to do? But I realized that they're looking to me for guidance. You know, I learned how to get over that fear and I love music. So I'm always playing like Britney Spears and like Mariah Carey. My dream is to train Mariah Carey.
Okay, we're gonna put it up there. So in terms of running your business, how do you handle like the finances part of it? Because I know you said you work for the bank, so you have quite a bit of experience. So has that come in very handy when it comes to managing the business itself?
You know, I believe that the universe and God and there's everything has a plan. So everything is happening the way it's supposed to happen. I was supposed to work in banking for 15 years because everything I learned, I am using in my own business at the last detail. I don't care if it's fitness. I have learned, and that's why I'm so grateful that I spent so much time there because I learned a lot about it. And so those skills are transferable. So yeah, so handling the finance piece, I do it all by myself. You know, I don't have any help. I'm thinking of getting help because I'm growing and I'm excited, but it's just a lot of moving parts right now. And I'm just even grateful that people are even talking to me. And I have a lot of people wanting to work with me, which is, it's just so humbling. And I'm so grateful because to see this come to life is it's mind blowing for me.
Yeah, and I'm very, very happy for you. I know that you will go places and you will be training. Is it Mariah Carey?
Mariah
Yeah, you'll be
Kamimi,
training
yeah.
her very soon. So I look forward to hearing even
Oh,
more about
good.
that. Yeah. In terms of the struggles that you face and the challenges, can you tell us a little bit more about that? When was the one time you probably almost gave up?
Recently, actually, I almost gave up everything. You know, I started October 22, and you know, the minute I opened the gates to my new career, it was like people were like, "Oh, you're gonna do so good." And I last year I got really busy. I've been able to work with over 35 people. I believe I'm approaching 40 people by myself. So without a gym, you know, just me, and you know, I'm so proud of that. You know, there's been times where it goes up and down, but for the most part, I'm learning still. I'm about to hit November, December, January, February, March. So about a year and a half is coming up, year and 5 months. But in, I was doing so well last year that I decided, you know what, I'm going to take a vacation because I was able to afford to take a vacation and because I wasn't slowing down. And so one of my dreams was to always go and see Christ the Redeemer statue in Brazil. And so I was so happy and I was like, no, I'm going to go. I've been working my buns off and I'm at a place where I can take a vacation. So I went to Brazil and it was so nice. And then after that, I went to back to my hometown and I did a boot camp. I promoted it and I had 25 people show up and they were just so happy. A lot of people I knew, my mom, sisters, but my grandmother, her name is Teresa. Uh, she, she was 77 years old and I was about to leave back to New York and I guess she called me and she was in the hospital but I had just seen her a couple days before. So I was like, what? So she, over the next course of about 6 weeks, she started getting really sick. She was in and out of the hospital for the first 3 weeks. And, my grandma, she raised me and my sisters along with my mom and my aunts. And she was my biggest cheerleader. She even came to New York to visit me when I first moved here. And so she ended up away. Somebody swept a carpet. My sister Jessica said it's like somebody swept the carpet from under us
Sorry.
because I was not expecting. Thank you. Thank you. I was not expecting her to pass away. I thought my grandma was going to be here to see me at the height of my career because I'm not there yet. I thought she was going to be able to see me training Mariah Carey. And so I went into a really deep, dark depression after she passed away. And I was back and forth to California, August, October when she passed, and then November for the services. And, I just wanted to give up. I said, I am not doing this anymore. Like, I'm going to go back to the bank. And I have no energy to continue to just do this because I have never experienced loss this close to me. And, I was probably in bed for about a good 3 weeks. I wouldn't leave my place. I was back home. I wouldn't talk to my family because I didn't want them to know what I was going through because I'm out here by myself and they're, my family back home is still really dealing with the after effects also. But to add to that, I didn't want my mom to go through anything else that she was already going through because she was the oldest. So I was suffering here in silence. And I was even asking my friend here in Armando, like, I think I'm going to go back to the bank. Can you help me find a job? Like, I'm going to just quit. But I was meeting with a friend Liz one night, and then we were just talking, and I love her. She's actually from Bakersfield too, where I'm from, but she lives here. And we had a really meaningful conversation, and she told me she's like, "Sissy, don't give up. Your grandma is with you. I don't know your grandma, but from the videos you posted about her, you guys have like some sort of like spiritual connection. And my grandma was loca AF, and so am I. That's why I'm like crazy, you know what I mean? And my mom's a little crazy too. But I after that night, I had a dream about her, and in the dream, she was telling me, she's just like, I'm okay, mijo, and you need to keep going. And my grandma was always the one encouraging me to continue this. After I got her blessing, she was like, Jesse, or she would call me Jesse, mijo, Jesse. You're so good, mijo. You're gonna do so good. She would be like, she would send me pictures. Should I drink this protein shake? And she was so proud of me. And I said, you know what? I am not gonna give up. I am gonna dive even further into this. So when you mentioned if I'm doing this full time, it's about three-fourths. But I actually decided, you know what? I want to become bigger. I want to grow, get more education, get more exposure, and I want to get more knowledge around people that are in the community. So I decided to take a part-time job with Equinox. So I'm a fitness coach at Equinox also, which is really good. It's been about 3 months and I've already in the 3 months, I've learned so much more about fitness. So it's definitely been a great move and I'm back and I'm honestly better than ever because I'm actually so driven and I've been able to just attract, attract. And I get those emails, the forms, like the contact forms of when people want to work with me. Hey, I'm interested. Hey, how about this? What can you do here? And it's so motivating. And so, yeah, that's the time I almost gave up recently.
I'm so sorry for your loss, and I'm so sorry that you went through that. It's good that you have a network of friends to actually help you through. So even though you're very independent, the fact that Liz actually was able to remind you or make you aware that your grandma is there with you, I think it's really good to have people
Yeah.
like that in your life. So I'm happy that you had that. Yeah. And
Thank you.
I think that kind of helps us go into the blossoming stage. I wanted to find out, what do you identify as success? How would you describe success to you?
That is a great question because I have, some of the things that I tell my followers on Instagram is, what does success look like for you? And success it comes in many different layers, to be honest. And each person's vision of success is their own vision. My vision of success has changed a lot, especially being in the health and fitness field. My health is success, that I'm healthy, that I'm not homeless. New York, there's a lot of homelessness here. My success is that despite all my adversaries in my life, I didn't turn to drugs and I didn't turn to alcoholism. There was a period of time when I was drinking a lot, but I don't drink anymore. Success to me is that I'm able to pay all of my responsibilities every month and be able to go to Brazil. And success to me is being able to fulfill my purpose and inspiring, leading, and helping people live healthier lives. That's what success is for me. And now that my grandma's gone, success is living in her honor and doing things that are going to catapult me to the top to truly inspire people. That's what success is to me.
Great. Thank you so much for sharing that. Well, I'm sure a lot of people would relate. We have been having fun, but we've gotten to the end of the episode. But before we actually close out, there is something I always like to ask. Can you provide 2 or 3 actionable tips based on your experience? So someone listening to you right now who's looking to actually start their own business like you did, what are 3 things you would say that they can do right now to make that goal a reality?
You need to know yourself and you really need to find, if you're going to start your own business, you need to do something that means something to you. Some people will try certain things and quit and try and quit. And then they get in a rut and think, well, why is nothing working out for me? Because you're not staying true to yourself. So you need to do some, and that could be anything. That could be selling houses, being a realtor. You know what I mean? It could be selling juices, something that's near and dear to your heart that wouldn't be work. You could just do it for free. I wish, Clea, that I could train people for free, to be honest, and help people. And maybe one day I'll get to that place. But this is, my service to people because there's a lot of work behind it. There's a lot of work. The second piece of advice I would give to somebody is to start saving money if you're going to quit your job, so you can have some room to pay your bills for the next 6 months. And the third thing I would say to somebody that is looking to start their own business is to just get started and to not be afraid, because that's a lot of people's problems, including myself back in the day, is that I was just so afraid of everything that I never took action. So nothing ever came to life. Some people think, what if this doesn't work out? What if this happens? What if that happens? Well, what if it works out? And like, what if you just open the doors to just an amazing opportunity that you didn't even know? So just to get started, and you know what? If you fall forward because you did something that meant something to you, and at least you could say you tried and you could figure it out again. Some people get stuck in their own ways, but you cannot do that. You have to really trust yourself and know that you're the one responsible for your own happiness, life, and success, whatever that means to you. And you should not be afraid of what other people think, because other people probably don't even care. You know what I mean? So you gotta do it. You gotta make it happen.
But how do you actually get past that though? Because not being afraid, because there is fear of success and fear of failure. I think we're afraid of both. So what do you do to actually get past the fear?
What helped me get past the fear is just diving into it, to be honest, and experiencing what it felt like. It was scary when I was teaching these classes because I was like in my head the whole time thinking, what am I doing? I was like, okay, one, two, three. And I'm thinking, what the hell am I doing? Like, what? But also, when I'm training clients and I'm trying to, talk to them. And in the beginning, I was just like talking to these people and I was just like, oh my God, what am I doing? Did I really just quit this bank? Like, and you're in this zone that you don't even know anything about. And so, but you just learn as you go, to be honest with you. You learn and you stay honest to your people and to yourself. You have to do that. And that's what's going to help you, to be honest. That's what's going to help you find that resilience within yourself. Every morning I wake up and I recite the word love. I say happiness and I say motivation. And every morning I'm like, love, happiness, motivation, love, happiness, motivation. And it tricks my mind it doesn't trick it because it is, that's all everything I want. And it helps me to promote myself and to live a healthier life. And also just not being afraid to talk to people about what you do. So the first thing that you should be doing every time you meet somebody is promoting your services. So, or promoting what you do. So, hi, Clarita, my name is Jesse. I'm a personal trainer. Or, hi, Clarita, I'm a fitness coach. Boom. And then that just people will always associate you with fitness or with whatever you are. Hey, I'm Clarita. I'm an accountant. Oh, I need her. Or, hey, I'm this person and I do catering. That's my boss, Mario. And this is what I do. So, always introduce yourself with what you're trying to do because you never know who you're going to meet, to be honest.
Yeah, yeah, that's very good advice. And I think sometimes we underestimate the impact that can have, that first introduction and associating your name with what you do. So when people
Yeah.
think about that thing, they think about you.
And just being genuine.
Yes, that goes a long way. People can tell when you're not genuine. So
Yeah.
So part of the podcast is creating a community for other entrepreneurs, people who have gone ahead and followed their dream, and others who are probably still thinking about it. So we're hoping to inspire them to start their journey. And one of the things we would like to do is connect guests like yourself to somebody listening out there. With I think there is power in a one-on-one conversation. So I'd like to find out from you if you're willing to give up at least 30 minutes of your time to someone who reaches out to you and say that, we could say like the first person who reaches out to you and say that they heard about you through our podcast. They can schedule 30 minutes of time with you to talk about fitness or how just more details about how you started your business or if you can help them, get started themselves. So is that something you'd be interested in?
Absolutely. I would love, yes, absolutely. I would, of course, that would be amazing.
Okay. So how can people reach you?
So my Instagram is B as in boy, T as in Tom, fitness. So BBT fitness. You send me a direct message there, or my website is bbtfitness.net. So www.bbtfitness.net. You can fill out a contact form and it'll tell me. But yes, so the butterfly body transformation, it's all
I
about
can't
finding.
forget butterfly.
Yeah, think about it. I mean, think, you think about a caterpillar to a butterfly. It's a whole transformation. My
Mhm.
business is about finding the strength within yourself to blossom out.
Yeah, nice.
Doo-doo-doo-doo.
I love it. So that we've come to the end of the episode. So I just want to thank you so much for taking the time to be with us. And I enjoyed your energy immensely. And I look forward to seeing you on here again.
Yes, I can't wait. I want to thank you again for allowing me this platform to talk to anybody. And, I'm proud of you for starting that because you're one of the people that just started. And so I know that your podcast is going to do amazing. You're an amazing person. I love your voice. I love your energy also. And, thank you for this opportunity. I'm so grateful.
Thank you so much. Thanks for listening to this episode of Begin, Build, Blossom, Your Business Journey, a CME Accounting LLC podcast. Please subscribe and be on the lookout for our next episode. If you'd like to share any feedback with us, please email us at podcast@cmeaccountingllc.com.